This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, hi there, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond. Welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe Birthday Boy. You thought I forgot about this segment, but no, I didn't, because the last 2 days, I really haven't had any feeling of who should be a birthday boy or girl for that matter. And there will be another few-day layoff in that thing, as is. Today I talk about a UFC icon where he was a light heavyweight champion and one of the biggest, I guess you could say, villains of UFC at the time. He was Huntington Beach, and he was actually mayor pro tempore. So he was in office for 6 months. He he was a professional boxer and lost to Anderson Silva, which is weird. But anyway, you know, pro tempore is like for the time being because until they have the mayor. So yeah, and he was the Huntington Beach Bad Boy. Tito Ortiz is his name, who now is 48 years old. Tito Ortiz actually trained with UFC fighter Tank Abbott. So anyway, he went to UFC 13 and made his debut. He was still in college and was an amateur, meaning that he got no prize money or contracts. He beat Wes Edgerton in an alternate belt in the first round. So then he was given the chance to be in the light heavyweight championship fight against Guy Mesker, with Enson Inoue hurt. Ortiz did get submitted by a guillotine choke. He looked good, but anyway. He would actually fight at UFC 18 against Jerry Brolander and dominated the fight. He won by TKO. And then at UFC 19, he TKO'd Mesker. Unfortunately, his post-fight antics got the Lions Den and Ken Shamrock pissed off. Anyway, Ortiz credited Bas Rutten for inspiration during his early days. Ortiz would fight Frank Shamrock in his first title bout, the UFC light heavyweight belt at UFC 22. Unfortunately, he lost via submission, so Frank Shamrock got it. But he retired and vacated the belt. And Ortiz was chosen to be the middleweight turned into the light heavyweight, so Ortiz was chosen alongside Wanderlei Silva as a top contender. And they would fight each other, and Ortiz, by unanimous decision, would be the light heavyweight champion. He would defend it 5 times in 3 years, taking down Yuki Kondo, Evan Tanner, Elvis Sinosic, Vladi Matyushenko, and Ken Shamrock even. He was off for a year, so he would fight the new interim light heavyweight champion, Randy Couture. Unfortunately, he would be decisioned against by Couture. He lost his 3.5-year reign. It was actually the longest light heavyweight reign until John Bone Jones did so in September 2013. Ortiz would face Chuck Liddell at UFC 47, being TKO'd, and then he took down Patrick Cote at UFC 50, and then 51 he fought a split decision against Vitor Belfort, beating him. Ortiz had a chance to go to Pride, but of course Pride had some issues. All that. Ortiz was a guest referee at TNA Wrestling for a while, but then Tito would be back in UFC as one of the coaches for the Ultimate Fighter reality series, Ultimate Fighter 3 as it was. Ortiz would face Forrest Griffin, winning by split decision, and then against Ken Shamrock, Ortiz TKO'd Shamrock. Ortiz would take down Shamrock one more time, and it was huge and all that. Chuck Liddell took the light heavyweight belt in 2006, facing Tito Ortiz, thanks to a referee's stoppage. So, anyway, Ortiz was upset with how he lost to Lyoto Machida at UFC 84 in 2008, so he decided to leave. Anyway, he did what he could. So anyway, he left the UFC in 2008 and was approached by multiple promotions, but he couldn't fight for any organization until late 2009. Ortiz decided to go through back surgery and all that. He would make a comeback to the UFC by July 2009 and said that, everything had been worked and all that. Forrest Griffin would face Tito Ortiz at UFC 106. Griffin did win the fight by split decision. Ortiz tried, and then Ortiz was named the coach of Ultimate Fighter 11. So anyway, Ortiz had a few fights and all that. So anyway, Ortiz shocked a lot of people by taking down Ryan Bader in UFC 132 in 2011 in the first few minutes. It's kind of saved his UFC career. Unfortunately, Ortiz would have a few bad fights and decided to retire. Ortiz was named to the UFC Hall of Fame, though. So Ortiz decided to retire from MMA and become a manager. His management team picked up Cyborg, and he stepped down as manager. So he was part of Bellator MMA and would face Quinton Jackson in November 2013, but Ortiz was injured. Ortiz did face Alex Sumanenko at Bellator 120 in 2014 and won by choke submission. He would fight a few more times in Bellator. Ortiz faced Chuck Liddell in a fight in November 2018 at the Forum in Inglewood and won. Anyway, Ortiz tried his best. He was in Zombie Strippers. He was on Mad TV a couple of times. Well, one time doing that skit with Bobby Lee and Jordan Peele, like for a commercial in which Tito Ortiz would strike Jordan Peele. And it was funny, the fake blood and all that. Ortiz in 2020 ran for a city council seat, hopefully to be mayor one of these days. Huntington Beach actually does not elect mayors directly. They give a chance among city council members. So December 7th, he was sworn in as mayor pro tempore, or temporary mayor of Huntington Beach. Ortiz would only spend 6 months in office. He actually filed for unemployment despite not being unemployed or underemployed. So anyway, Ortiz married his first wife for 5 years, and they divorced in 2005, having a son. And then in 2006, he would date Shannon Jameson, who was a great adult filmmaker. So yeah, she was the queen of porn and all that. So anyway, by November 2006, Jameson would not act in pornos, and they were in a monogamous relationship. And they gave birth to twin boys, Jesse Jameson and Journey Jet. Jameson and Ortiz would split up in 2013. Ortiz got custody of the twins. So anyway, Ortiz had some stuff. He had problems in the legal issues, but it is what it is. But yeah, his professional mark of 21 wins, 12 losses, and a tie. throughout many promotions, Golden Boy promotions, Bellator, Combate Americas, in UFC. He did what he could. He looked okay. So, anyway. He did what he needed to do. Lost to Anderson Silva in a boxing match at age 46. So, yeah. He was on The Celebrity Apprentice in 2008, being knocked out in the 9th episode. So, yeah. Tito Ortiz was just UFC personified way back in the mid to late 90s. So, yeah, he was the Huntington Beach Bad Boy. He wasn't a bad boy in UFC. He just lost too many times. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.